Kyrie Irving demands a trade, and the Lakers' rumor mill spins off its axis and flutters to galaxies far, far away. Has the John Wall experiment with the Clippers failed? And Julian Araujo's biggest dreams in life get crushed by a clerical error. Ugh. Hi, I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It is February 4th, 2023. We have added multiple subscribers to the Angelino familia within the last day. I appreciate every last one of you. It always makes my day when I see this subscriber list growing. Thank you for getting in on the ground floor. Now, if you like the content we put out, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And yeah, comment. There's a lot to comment on. Before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. Yesterday, nothing. No games. So what the heck? It's Friday. It's the day you get paid. I'm hoping you got out what rhymes with paid. Meanwhile, today, the Lakers are at New Orleans. That's a 3. The Pelicans are just one game ahead of the Lakers in the conference standings. Clippers are at New York. That's at 4 o'clock. Washington State is playing number 9 UCLA. You know, despite that recent 2-game losing streak, the Bruins still lead the Pac-12. And Washington's going to be at USC. Vince Iwuchukwu is likely to get his first start of the year as Josh Morgan injured his ankle, according to the LA Times. Having said that, Iwuchukwu is on a minutes restriction because of a heart episode that he had last summer. But we got to get to the big news, and we're going to take a lot of time, as they like to say, unpacking all of what's going on. Thursday is the NBA's trade deadline, and you know, the thing about trade deadlines, there are a lot of stories out there that are completely untethered to reality. There's a lot of gossip, there's a lot of, psst, hey buddy, I know what your team is gonna do. That kind of crap. Well, Kyrie Irving gave a nice swift kick to the testicles of reality yesterday by advising the Brooklyn Nets that he wants to be traded, sources say. If he doesn't get traded, Irving will leave the team via free agency. This news sent a seismic wave across the pro basketball landscape for dozens of reasons. So like I said, I want to take a moment, step back, and look at this whole thing from stem to stern. And I want to avoid gossip as much as possible. Because yes, the Lakers are very likely going to be players for him. Give me some time, because this does actually matter. This is something that we should discuss. The Lakers were allegedly in the running to acquire Irving over the summer. LeBron James lobbied the Lakers front office to go get him. It's where you started to hear the same thing like a mantra over and over in a Zen Buddhist class. Send Russell Westbrook and 2 draft picks. Send Russell Westbrook and 2 draft picks. You heard it all season long. And while it's true that Rob Pelinka stood up to LeBron then, both LeBron and Magic Johnson were absolutely giddy over Friday's news. And Magic, by the way, has the ear of Laker owner Jeannie Buss. Now, Kyrie Irving is a legit needle mover if he wants to play. Which is another complication. Irving won a ring with James in Cleveland. Out of every single name that you've heard in those scorching hot Laker rumors, Kyrie Irving's the best player. It's better than Fred VanVleet, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Draymond Green, Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, Bradley Beal. He's the best of the bunch. If Irving were consistently on his game, he's probably a top 10 talent. I could even argue he would be the best player on the Lakers, because you've got an oft-injured Anthony Davis and a 38-year-old LeBron James. Irving made his 8th All-Star team this year. The man is averaging more than 27 points a game. If Irving were focused at this point in all 3 of their careers, he could theoretically be the most efficient player on the court. You could even say the reason the Lakers didn't go broke earlier this year by sending Westbrook and 2 picks for, say, Buddy Hield and Miles Turner is because they thought that they could get a bigger superstar, i.e. they were patient for Kyrie Irving. All of this stuff that I've said, all of this praise and this glowing happy talk, though, is tempered. Kyrie Irving is a drama king or drama queen, however you identify, whatever. Now, some of the drama that Irving causes is silly. He's claimed to be a flat earther, but some of the drama is really troubling. Irving wanted to show the world that he could be the leader that LeBron James is. So he storms out of Cleveland in a huff and he goes to Boston. And a couple of years later, they ran him and his act out of town. Then he lands in Brooklyn, seeking to build a super team with Kevin Durant. Didn't happen, did it? Totally didn't. Irving missed more than half the season recently because he didn't want to take the COVID vaccine. By the way, that's another story for another time. I'm not here to talk politics. I'm not here to talk about personal medical decisions. He's been labeled a coach killer. He's allegedly stabbed Kenny Atkinson and Steve Nash in the back. The man has never played for a single coach for more than 2 years. Then he tweets a still shot from a film that's considered anti-Semitic. The insinuation? Kyrie Irving could be anti-Semitic. Could be. He doesn't apologize. That got him suspended for 2 weeks in the season. Every team he leaves them hip deep in doo-doo. Let's not mince words here, although I don't like to cuss. Do you really think the Lakers would be an exception to the Kyrie Irving poop storm that inevitably comes? Do you think Darvin Ham is seeing this list of coaches that Irving wouldn't work with and thinking, oh yeah, this'll do. This'll work. I'm happy. Of course not. And I suppose this would also be a good time to remind you all that Lakers owner Jeannie Buss is Jewish. So it's complicated. Very much so. I know some of us would love to believe in Lakerland that all that has to happen is Magic Johnson flashes those radiant megawatt chompers and it casts a spell over everybody. And all of a sudden, Kyrie Irving is the consummate professional. We've been hearing that story about Magic Johnson's smile for years, guys. If you're one of those people who still believes that, no offense, get over yourselves. That's not true. There will be suitors aside from the Lakers for Irving, Dallas, Miami, Phoenix, but there are complications about any trade. For example, the Nets have so little leverage now, so little chance of winning a trade with Kyrie Irving, that they might just sit there and go, you know what? To hell with it. We're going to keep him. One last run with Kevin Durant and James Harden. Because let's say they do trade it for Russell Westbrook in the draft picks. Russell Westbrook is no longer a top 10 talent. Russell Westbrook at this point in his career isn't even a top 50 talent. Then you consider that New Orleans hasn't done squat with all the assets that they acquired in the Anthony Davis trade. The odds are really good that Brooklyn is going to lose no matter what they do. The Nets, despite the litany of issues with the guy, were still trying to extend his contract, by the way. There's a report, I don't know if I believe it, that broke this morning that Irving turned down a max extension. That's what led to the trade demand. So let's tap the brakes for a moment because we've gone through a lot. We've established that Irving is possibly a top 10 talent. We also believe that there is interest by the Lakers. But the man comes with more red flags than a Chinese military parade. So the next question becomes not could the Lakers go for him, but should they? Probably, yeah. You land Irving and the Lakers now have 3 of what? The top 20 players in the league, the top 15? That would be the best trio in the league. Consider, the Lakers have sank the fewest three-pointers in the league. This is another reason. Defenses don't respect, say, Russell Westbrook when he's out on the periphery. They sag in. They double Anthony Davis if they can. So Irving is an immediate solution to the Lakers' three-point dilemma. He's a sharpshooter. Also, unlike Russell Westbrook clogging the Lakers' offensive spacing when he and LeBron and Anthony Davis are all on the court, Irving knows exactly where to be when LeBron James is on the court. He's perfectly willing to defer to LeBron. You could easily also envision Irving with younger legs staying on the court longer and running the second team when James needs some time on the bench. If they extend Irving, the Lakers have an inside-out game, by the way, even after LeBron James retires. What is the inside-out game? Simply put, Shaq and Kobe, Kareem and Magic, Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West, an inside player, an outside player. They would have that. But what sort of drama would Irving add? I mean, I've been wondering for years how bad this guy even wants to play. And that was before the vaccination kerfuffle. I wouldn't trust this guy with a new max contract. And let's not forget that even though he sinks three-point shots, the Lakers already are too short. They have a lot of guards. You add Kyrie Irving, you're adding another guard. Also, keep in mind, Westbrook gets paid significantly more than Irving does. So if there is a deal in the works, the Nets would actually have to add a player to balance out the salaries. Or a third team could get involved. That means more players. That means more salary. It's extremely complicated and complex to get something like that done in less than a week. Now, I've spent a lot of time talking about the Lakers and Kyrie Irving. I wouldn't count out the LA Clippers having interest either. Their title window with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George is closing. And while the Lakers would want Kyrie Irving, the all-star, the third big player in a big three, the Clippers would look at Kyrie Irving as the point guard who fits. But the Clippers, they can only offer multiple mid-level type contracts back in return, while the Lakers could offer draft picks and salary cap relief, which speeds up a potential rebuild over in Brooklyn. I would argue it's the Lakers. So yes, there are dozens of rumors about the Lakers. I am not saying anything will come of Kyrie Irving. I'm extremely skeptical. For all I know, this is a bargaining chip. I really want to stress that. I am not predicting Kyrie Irving is in purple and gold. I wouldn't put it past him to use this for bargaining. But the news is out there. The news is legit. We have to talk about it. Also with the Lakers, Anthony Davis said he is not upset by a so-called all-star snub. That makes sense. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar will be in the stands for the upcoming 2 Lakers home games when James will likely surpass him as the league's all-time leading scorer. That is extremely magnanimous of the captain, considering he and LeBron James have a frosty relationship. Has the John Wall experiment failed with the Clippers? He was once one of the biggest names in the NBA, but league officials are saying that the Clippers are now looking elsewhere. I mentioned Fred VanVleet earlier as a potential replacement at guard. They are also looking at Kyle Lowry and Mike Conley. Wall isn't what Coach Tyronn Lue considers his type of point guard. Wall likes to initiate, he likes to create shots for himself. Quote, just play defense and knock down threes. If you're not able to do that, it's kind of hard to play with those guys because you're not going to have the ball in your hands a lot, unquote. That is what Tyronn Lue told the LA Times. Those guys would be Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. League sources say the Clippers might actually buy out Wall's contract if they can't find a trade partner. Galaxy right back Julian Araujo's transfer to FC Barcelona was nixed by FIFA, the organization that oversees global soccer. Barca said the paperwork for the deal was filed too late, and we talked about it yesterday. There were stories that the paperwork literally arrived 18 seconds too late. Folks, that's what happens when you pay for Spectrum Wi-Fi. Now, Araujo, who's 21, would have likely gone with a Barca minor league affiliate, for lack of a better term. But he would have been fast-tracked to play probably for one of Europe's major super teams. Barcelona is huge, guys, and they do need a lot of help on the back line. Now, I do realize it's easy to blame the Galaxy because their front office is despised, but all snark aside, the Galaxy were highly motivated to sell because they could have done a lot with that transfer fee. If anything, we have to ask ourselves, is it Barca's fault? Barca does have financial problems. Is it possible that they waffled considering the price they would pay now and later? But it's still terrible. You got to feel for Julian Araujo. We all want to be on the brightest stage. We all want our flowers. We all want the attention. We all want to compete with the best in the world, and you've just had your life's ambitions crushed by a clerical error. That is some tough stuff. We mentioned earlier how USC football might fare in the Big Ten. We've talked about that for weeks. But here's a question. What about the basketball team? Now, we don't have much to go on, admittedly, but I can tell you, if you look back, the Trojans lost to Washington in a small tournament in the Bahamas earlier this season. The Badgers are 11th in the conference. Yikes. I can also tell you that the Trojans rank anywhere from 40th in the country to 52nd. It depends on what dude or what poll you follow. They're a bubble team to make the NCAA tournament right now. The upshot is that if you take a look at the teams that are also ranked out of the Big Ten, and if you factor that in the equation, the Trojans are currently third in the Pac-12, but that would only make them mid-level in the Big Ten. Something to consider when a couple of years from now, when Andy Enfield and the lads get sent to the Super Conference. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread, because we had an absolute ton of basketball to talk about today. Do you think the Clippers are moving on from John Wall? What about that Kyrie Irving guy? And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports every day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.